everyone, Dana here, and on this Ask an American, I'm going to be talking about some of the things that I really look forward to when I go back to the US to visit, because actually I'm going to be going back to the US tomorrow, and by the time this video comes out next week, I should already be in the US enjoying these things. I noticed something really interesting when I sat down to make the list for this video. I noticed that 7 years ago, when I first moved here to Europe, and then when I would go back to the US, there were a lot of things that I had marked on a list that I needed to do and eat and see while I was in the US, get those things that I had been craving, kind of mark them off my list, do all of those things before coming back to Germany. And now, when I sat down to make this list, I realized that the things have really changed a lot. Now, they're not really things that you just can mark off a list. They're more feelings and just experiences, and yeah, it's easier to just tell the things that I'm looking forward to rather than explaining it. I am going back to the US the main reason to visit my parents, and so the number one thing that I'm looking forward to during this trip is just spending time with my parents. But also, maybe this is something that anyone who has moved away from their childhood home knows about or has experienced. My parents, when I moved to Europe, they lived in Florida. They now live in Colorado, so they've moved across the country. And yet, whenever I go home, that first day when I walk through the door into my parents' home, there is a certain familiar smell that just hits me. It's like no matter where my parents live, their home just smells like my parents' home, and it's just such a comforting smell and feeling. It's like being wrapped up in a warm blanket. So I'm really looking forward to that. Now this next one, I'm going to do my best to try to describe it, and maybe you can also let me know in the comments if you've experienced something similar. I am also looking forward to being back in a country for a little bit where I just, in my core, in my very guts, just kind of instinctively understand the societal norms and the culture of that country in general. Living here in Germany, I absolutely love learning about the cultural differences and learning about the culture here in the country where I now live. I mean, obviously I'm fascinated by that. It's what I spend a lot of time in my videos talking about, and I just love learning about it. But at the same time, it can get sometimes just a little tiring to be in a country where I'm always learning something new. I absolutely love it. It's so fascinating, but sometimes it is nice to just go back to the US and just for a little bit, give my brain kind of a rest. And I'm in a place where I just kind of know, I don't want to say what's expected of me, but yeah, I just kind of know how things work. Here in Germany, now that I've lived here for 6 going on 7 years, I know a lot more than I did when I first moved here, definitely, that is for sure. But at the same time, I don't just know it in my core in the same way that I know just sort of how things are and how things work in the US. And I wonder if I will ever really know Germany in that same way, no matter how long I live here. I don't know. Is that something that you can learn over 20, 30, 40 years? Or is it like you kind of need to be born there and raised there? And until I moved away from the US, I didn't even really know that that was like a thing that I could miss. When I moved to Europe, I knew that I would miss some of my favorite foods, and I knew that I was going to miss my friends and my family, but I didn't know that just understanding how things work going on around me was going to be something that I would miss. Yeah, I mean, I knew that it would be exciting and new and there would be so much to learn, but I didn't know kind of that can sometimes exhaust you mentally. I'm also looking forward to being in a country where I can speak English all the time again. I really like speaking German, but at the same time, again, giving my brain kind of a break. It's nice to be for a little bit in a country where I don't have to pre-rehearse in my brain what I'm gonna say and what am I gonna do with that English. I'm gonna make small talk with people. So I've mentioned this, talked about this in some other videos before. In Germany, making small talk, especially, you know, with just strangers in the grocery store or whatever, isn't really something that people do here. Whereas in the US, it is. But interestingly, this kind of goes back to the whole societal norms thing, because I'm pretty sure that in the US, you can't just, you know, go up to anyone and start making chit chat with them. There are these unspoken rules about when it's appropriate, when it's okay, where, and what about, and with whom. And in the US, I just kind of know it. I would find it very difficult to try to explain to someone else who's not from the US exactly when and where and about what. You could strike up a conversation with a stranger. Yeah, I just kind of know it. And okay, yes, there are some foods that I have on a list that I have to make sure that I eat while I'm there. One of them is Chinese food. So Chinese food in the US, from what I've heard, is totally different from Chinese food in China. I've never been to China, so I don't know from personal experience, but I can tell you that Chinese food in the US is way different from Chinese food in Germany. And it's just got its own flavor, and yeah, I love it so much. I'm looking forward to General Tso's chicken. I'm also really looking forward to, there's an ice cream flavor at one of the ice cream parlors in the US called birthday cake ice cream or cake batter ice cream. Anyway, it is so good. And the last time that I was back, I shared a picture of this on Facebook. There's this one breakfast restaurant that makes these amazing breakfast burritos, and I think I'm gonna have to make a video on breakfast burritos. I've introduced Mr. German Man to breakfast burritos, like I introduced them to him, I don't know, 3 years ago or something, and now they're a big hit in the Wanted Adventure household. So yeah, those are some of the foods that I do still have on my list that I need to go eat and check off. So my question for you is, yeah, I am so excited now to hear, what have your experiences been with this? You go abroad and then you come back to the country where you grew up. What kinds of things did you look forward to? What did you find that you missed? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more videos. And also, if you enjoyed this video, please show some love with the like button. And for more photos and other short video clips, you can check me out over here on my Twitter and my Facebook page. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen. I just know the societal norms of that country, and I don't... Oh, there's a swan.